right, welcome everybody. As you know, these are my favorite times, but man, this one is exceptionally exciting. I am just so stoked to be here with you all. Thank you for coming out. I think we've had 2,500 people have registered for this webinar. So we appreciate you giving us your time on this wonderful Friday. We got a lot of exciting stuff to cover. But we have been super busy. I mean, this week alone has been incredible for us. We have officially reached 11,000 companies, that are now using JobTread every single day. Super awesome. We actually are in the middle of running 2 live boot camps here at our headquarters. We've got our beginner boot camp and we've got an advanced boot camp for estimating. So it's really cool getting to roll out, and give them some early access to what we're about to share with everyone. This has been a really, really exciting week. For the first time ever, we got 2 partners in our office at the same time. I want to give a shout out to Mike Claudio from WinRate and AJ Ballantyne from Render. Appreciate you guys coming out, sponsoring these boot camps, and just helping us to continue adding value to this incredible JobTread community. But look, let's dive in. The future of running your construction business is here. Today, we are going to be talking about AI and how that you can use it with JobTread to build a better business. As many of you know, we've been following AI for a long time. We heavily use it internally here at JobTread, and we have seen countless of you and the impact that it has made on your business. So we are so excited for this. The impact is just undeniable what AI can do for you as a person, as an individual, as well as a business. There is a huge opportunity ahead of us, and we are so excited to share it. Now, I got to tell you, everyone always comes in and they ask, what we want AI, but when we were like, well, what do you want? What do you want it to do? They're like, well, we don't really know. All we know is we want it. There's a lot of marketing hype, a lot of buzz, but what is AI? AI is a tool. And I would argue it's the most powerful tool that your business has ever had access to. Think of it like having an incredibly knowledgeable assistant available 24/7 who never gets tired and has the ability to read basically anything and everything, and can help you solve nearly any problem that you have. It's incredible. Never talks back. It is one of your best employees. You're going to love it. You got to learn to love it. It is such a powerful tool. But real quick, I want to see, before we go too much farther, before we get into it, I'm going to pop open a poll here. And I want to know, what is everyone currently using? And so you should be able to, let's see, we're going to relaunch this poll. All right, so I believe it should have popped up. So let us know, what is your preferred AI tool? Holy cow, this is incredible watching, thousands of people respond. I'm going to share the results here in just a second. All right, let's see. And look, even if you're not using AI, that's totally fine. Just let us know. All right, man, these responses are coming in rapid fire. This is pretty wild to see. All right, looks like we're getting there. About 3/4 of us have responded. Man, ChatGPT in the lead. All right. Couple more seconds here. And I think the interesting thing too, even those of you who don't think that they're using AI yet, you probably actually already are. If you've ever used Siri, if you've ever Google searched something, all those suggestions, your email spam filter, all of that is AI. So you have been using it every day, whether you know it or not. This really is everywhere, and it's going to continue to grow even more. All right, I'm going to go ahead and just end the poll. I see there's still more coming in, but we're going to end it, and I believe now I can share the results here. All right, so you should be able to see the results. So it looks like we came in at 45% of people are using ChatGPT. So 500 of you, of the 1,100 responses were ChatGPT. At 31%, we've got Claude. At 11%, we got Gemini, another 7% other, and 6% are not using AI at all. All right. It's awesome to see so much people and you guys really getting in there and using it. But for those of you who are not, AI, it isn't coming to the construction industry. It is already here. It will help you to be more efficient and to help you save so much time. You're going to be able to uncover new ideas and find better solutions to just about any problem you may have. The early adopters here, they're going to have a significant advantage over everyone else. Your competition, they may already be using AI. But the great thing is, you don't have to be a tech person to use AI. If you can send a text message, you can use AI. Even better, you can just talk to it. Use your voice. Pull out your phone, open your AI app, Claude, ChatGPT, whatever. Click the microphone button and just tell it whatever you want. This is huge. This means you can do it while you're driving to the job site, driving to the office, driving home, right after you leave a customer's job site there. Anytime and every time you have access to it. The question isn't whether AI will change how you run your business. It's whether you'll be ahead of that change or if you're going to be playing catch up. The problem that AI has had up until now is that it hasn't known anything about your specific business. Out of the box, AI knows a lot about the world, but nothing about your specific company and how you operate, or your jobs, your customers, your budgets and projects, and all the details that you deal with every single day. This is the gap that's kept AI from being truly useful in a day-to-day operational standpoint. You've had to manually copy and paste information or describe the intricate details of every situation from scratch whenever you want to get help. That friction has been the barrier between AI being interesting and AI being extremely valuable. And that's why today we are introducing the JobTread AI Connector. This will be the bridge that connects your AI to your business data in JobTread. And as I've talked about previously at JobTread Connect, we've been watching AI very, very closely. We've been playing with it. We use it extensively, internally. I don't know how I would live my life without it. But just since January, just since Connect, there has been such rapid progression that has enabled this to finally happen. But this didn't happen by accident. JobTread was designed for this exact moment. From the very beginning, JobTread was built API first. That means that every piece of data in your account is accessible in a structured and programmatic way with our API. Our open API has already enabled dozens of third-party integrations. Partners who have built their own tools and connections on top of JobTread. Many of those partners have already even built their own AI-powered integrations with our API. This API connector is the natural next step so that now you can connect your own API directly, your own AI directly to JobTread. We didn't have to retrofit this. This was in the foundation from the start. Now, before I go too much farther, there's a lot of terminology and acronyms in this whole AI arena. So I want to take a second to define just a few of them. First off, what does AI mean? It's artificial intelligence. And what is that? It's software that can understand what you're asking, reason through it, and give you useful responses. Now, if you've ever heard LLM or large language model, this is the specific type of AI that we're talking about today. This is the technology behind the tools like Claude and ChatGPT that let you have those real conversations with a computer in plain English and to get an intelligent, human quality response back. Now, when I say model, and you may hear model a lot, a model is, it's simply which AI you're using. Claude, ChatGPT, these others, they all have different models. And each one of them has their own strengths. And that's why we want to let you bring your own AI. You can choose which model. We don't want to lock you into just one. We want you to be able to use the model that works best for you. Some of these models are faster than others. Some are more precise. Some are more, more reasoning or logic and complex problem solving. Some of them are a lot more expensive than others. Think of these models, like tools on a job site. Or like, if, you have a finished carpenter and you have a framer. They're both very skilled, but you have to pick the right one for the right job. Using a heavy, expensive model for a simple task, that's like using a sledgehammer to hang a picture. And as you get more comfortable and more familiar with AI, you'll develop your own intuition on which models fit best, for your own task. For now, I think the most important thing is just to understand there's different models and different versions, but don't let that stop you from getting started. Whatever the default recommended one is for whichever tool you're using, it will be very, very capable of doing the day-to-day business tasks that you're going to be asking it. So just don't let that stop you from starting. You don't need to worry about which model right now. Just pick one and go. And when you prompt it, prompting is like the message that you're sending to AI. It's the question, that you're asking or what you're telling it, you're prompting it. The context, this is the background information that you're giving the AI to work with. And the more relevant context that you can provide, the better and more accurate the response you're going to get from the AI. Think of it like calling your subcontractor. The prompt is the phone call, but the context is everything that you're going to tell him or her on that call. The more relevant information and detail you give it, the better job they're going to do. AI works that same exact way. Now, you also need to know that there is a limit on how much context the AI can hold in memory and can use and process at one time. And so if you reach the end of that context window, some of the old stuff might have to be pushed out for the new stuff to get in. So it's not infinite. It's a lot, and it shouldn't matter too much for what we're going to be talking about and using here in your day to day. But just know, there are limits here. Now, if you see MCP, this stands for Model Context Protocol. And this is the actual technology that is going to enable you to directly connect your AI to JobTread or any other software that supports MCP. So instead of the AI just knowing this general information about the world, it can actually see and work with your real data for those applications that you have connected to. Think of it like you're giving the AI a key to a filing cabinet. And so now it can access whatever information it needs, and then it can take action based on what it finds, and it can report back to you. All without you having to, communicate or copy and paste all that information. It can just do it automatically. And lastly, I want to mention agents. So agents, they can complete multi-step tasks on your behalf by using tools, by making decisions, by working through problems from start to finish. Most people's experience with AI is very conversational. You ask it and you get an answer. And you can go back and forth in a conversation. But agents take it a step further. They can have a set of instructions that are already defined for them. And when you give it a goal, or when something calls it or triggers it, it can figure out the steps that it needs to do to complete it. And it can execute those steps without you having to guide it for each and every one. A simple example of this might be, instead of asking the AI to draft a budget, an agent might automatically know and be able to review that this project scope was created. It could pull in comparable historical jobs. It could build the budget line by line, could flag anything that looks off, and it could present you with a finished draft all in one go. Now, we're still sitting in the very early days with agents, but they represent where this technology is headed. The JobTread AI connector is built with this in mind. So as the agent capabilities grow, your connection to JobTread is already in place to take advantage of them. The possibilities here are endless. And even though we are still in the early stages, I can confidently tell you this is going to change the game. You will be able to spend less time on manual tasks and more time building and managing and growing your business. So I want to dig into a few specific use cases that our AI connector can now enable for you. Estimating. Being able to quickly draft budgets with an estimated cost and price. Creating proposals, and actually creating the document and drafting the overall scope of work based on the line items or based on the information that it knows, and it can just populate that document description for you. It can improve your messaging on how you position each and every line item in that job. How you communicate to your customers. You can even have it compare your budget to other jobs, previous jobs that you've run. The ones that have worked well, like have it look at those and make sure that you hadn't forgotten anything. And have it tell you, was there anything I overlooked? Do you see any challenges? Anything I need to drill into more? In this example here on the screen, Alex, he said, hey, create a bathroom remodel budget for a 10 by 10 bathroom with 2 sinks, a new tub, tile, and all the fixtures. And within minutes, it generated this full budget. I mean, again, this is incredible. What does this really mean, though? I mean, it's about, speed. One of the biggest advantages, and the biggest determinant of how likely you are to win a job is how fast you can turn around that bid. The faster you can get professional estimates in front of a client, the better your chances of winning a job before your competitor has even responded. AI is going to help you build these estimates in a much more consistent format every time. The same structure, same level of detail, same professional presentation, regardless of who put it together. And again, being able to learn from your own history. The more that you use it, the smarter your prompting will get. The more data that you'll have. You'll be able to develop your go-to prompts for your most common scenarios, the most common types of jobs, the most common situations, and you can reuse that over and over again. I mentioned it earlier, but the thinking about client and how you position things to the clients. A lot of contractors are great at building, but sometimes they can struggle to translate some of the work that they're going to do into human, friendly language that the homeowner is going to understand and value and appreciate. AI can help you take those items and rewrite them in plain English that will build confidence with your clients. If situations come up, where you're not exactly sure, maybe, it's kind of a different type of job than you typically do. They're outside of your wheelhouse. Ask AI to give you some insight and to help you draft up what are all the things that you need to take into account. This is an opportunity to have a second set of eyes on everything, and they have this broad construction knowledge. Now, I'm sure there are so many more examples, and that you all are going to be able to figure out some really amazing use cases for how AI can help you with estimating, and I can't wait to hear them all. What about with selections? When you can describe your client's style what their budget is, what their preferences are, and then ask AI to go find those options that will fit for that client within their budget to meet their needs. Like, this isn't just generic recommendations. This is very customized and specific for that specific client and job. And you can just tell it to go do it, go find it. You can even tell it which vendors or brands you prefer to work with, maybe which ones to avoid. It can factor all of that information in for you. Like, think about all the time that you spend needing to research and then gather the photos and the descriptions, all the specifications, and putting that into JobTread manually. Just let the AI do it for you. And like beyond just like the photos, descriptions, like it can help you pull all of the technical specs and the installation requirements that you're going to need in the field after you win that job. So let's go ahead and get that in there now and just have it automatically show up on the specs tab once the job's won. You can ask it to give you the good, better, best options. And then it can go and literally create these selection groups directly in your budget or directly on a selection document. You can tell it what are the options. I want to require them to pick one, or they can pick any, or however many. The more that you prompt it and tell it exactly what you want it to do, the better it'll be able to do this for you. And this is going to help you to save so much time. But more importantly, it's going to help you to find even better options for your customers that you might not have done before. And when you leverage this selections tool that we provide you, this is going to elevate your game. This is going to elevate the customer's experience. In this example here, we told it to, hey, just go out, to homedepot.com and find the top rated brushed nickel faucets. We wanted one entry level, one mid tier, one high end. Please add the name, description, cost, and images into the job budget. That's huge. Now look, maybe you didn't like one of the options, and cool, you just tell it, no, find me something else. Or maybe I want you to go look in some other places. Being able to have that back and forth, what it would have taken you hours to do before, you can do in minutes. When selections show up in a polished document, with photos and descriptions, all of these options laid out clearly, it is going to elevate how professional your business looks. Your clients are going to notice that. This will help you to win more jobs. And every hour that your team is spending, researching material selections is an hour that they're not spending on the job site or focused on winning your next job. AI can give you that time back. So take advantage of it. Let's talk about Takeoff. If you work from plans and drawings, how much time gets eaten up when you need to go and manually extract all of those measurements and all the numbers and the data that you need before you can start building your estimate. It's tedious. It's time consuming. This is where a lot of costly mistakes can happen. And there's so many ways that AI can help you here. Being able to extract, these quantities and these measurements, just feed the AI with your plans and drawings and have it pull the quantities directly. Have it pull the measurement data, the linear foot, the square foot, the counts, without you having to manually go measure and calculate each and everything. This is going to accelerate your takeoff speed. What used to take half a day will now take minutes. And this means that you can bid more jobs, you can respond faster, you can send, these estimates out the door. You're spending your time reviewing the numbers instead of generating them. You want to refine them and perfect them, but not have to go and do all of that manual effort every single time. Yesterday in our advanced estimating bootcamp, one of our contractors, he actually took a screenshot from Pool Studio and he copied that directly into Claude. He uploaded it to Claude, said, Claude, go get me all of the measurement data and build out the parameters directly in his job in JobTread. And it did it. No manual entry. He could not believe it. That's not a future capability. That happened yesterday. This is one of those areas where AI, it doesn't just save time. It can genuinely change how many jobs you are able to go after. If your takeoff process is a bottleneck, let AI help you remove that bottleneck. Scheduling. Scheduling is one of those things that I feel like every contractor knows that they should do better. But it's very time consuming to build a schedule from scratch for every single job. AI can change that equation. You can take your scope of work or even your estimate line items and have it automatically build out a full project schedule with phases and sequence durations without having to start from a blank sheet every time. Like, it is a custom built schedule based on the job's requirements. You know, and AI, it understands construction sequencing. It knows framing comes before drywall. Rough-in comes before installation. You're not just getting a list of tasks here, you are getting a logical, buildable schedule for your job. And maybe you even want to assign those tasks. Once that schedule is built, AI can help assign them to the right people based on your crews or your subcontractors, so that everyone knows what they're responsible for and when. This is how you will keep projects moving. And when things change, because we know they always do, AI can help you to quickly readjust the schedule. Figure out what was the downstream impact so that you're not having to manually rebuild the whole timeline every time there's a change. And I think too, probably not enough of you are sharing your schedule on the client portal. A clear schedule. This isn't just an internal tool. It's one of the best things that you can show a client to build confidence that you have a plan and that you are running a professional organization. This could single-handedly help you win more jobs. I told my JobTread pool building contractor, if they would have shown me the schedule before time, I probably would have moved forward a lot quicker because I would have seen I could actually be swimming. And instead, I drug my feet and I waited, and then I got my pool delivered in November when it's cold out. Use this as a tool to help you sell and to better manage your jobs. Most scheduling problems, they're not actually scheduling problems, they're communication problems. When everyone has clarity on what's happening, when and what they need to do, your jobs are going to run so much more smoothly. Your subs are going to show up on time. And your clients are going to stop calling you over and over asking what's going on. Empower them to self-service. In this example, you can see, in that same job, they told it, hey, just build me a schedule. Something that I expect to be able to get done in 10 days. Can you add some dependencies? However much detail you want to give it, it literally in minutes can just bam. It gives you a draft of what that schedule should be like. Then you can go through and you can customize it, tweak it, and then when you feel good and you're ready, you publish it. The insights that you can gain from AI are just, it's almost unmeasurable. You have an incredible amount of data already sitting in your JobTread. And most contractors, you just don't have the time or the understanding or know how to go and dig through it to try to extract information. But AI can change that. It can turn your data into actionable information. You can ask AI, where am I making money on my jobs? And where am I not? Have it analyze your completed jobs. Compare your estimates versus your actuals. It can show you patterns that you never even, thought to look for. And just probably weren't going to manually spot anyways, just flipping through reports or from job to job to job. It can monitor your budgets in real time. Instead of waiting to the end of the job till you realize that you're over budget, AI can flag these issues in real time. You can catch those problems early on before it's too late. Don't wait till that final invoice. And if you're running multiple jobs at once, like, I mean, again, like your challenges are exponentially greater. But this can give you those real-time snapshots across all of your jobs. You know, which ones are healthy? What's looking good? What needs attention? Where am I at risk? What's totally gone off the rails? Without you having to open up each and every job every single day and check everything. Just ask your AI to go do that for you. You know, and like the insights that you gain over time. Again, like being able to compare how you estimated your jobs and how your actuals came in. Being able to see previous jobs and use that to inform your future jobs. To understand, like, am I doing a good job estimating my labor or not? Am I always under on materials or over on, you know, a specific trade category? Like, this is how you will continue to get better. In every job you run, you should grow and improve. But even beyond just like individual jobs, like, you know, AI can help you understand your business as a whole. You know, your revenue, you know, how you're trending, your profits, like, you know, seasonality, what you need to do to prepare for the upcoming, you know, season change. You know, so that you can make decisions that are based on real data and not gut feelings. You know, most contractors, like you guys are sitting on a gold mine of information inside of your software, and you just have no idea. You know, AI is basically, you know, this business analyst that you get to deploy that already knows your numbers, and it understands what you're doing in your business, and it is ready and available to answer any questions that you may have. This is huge. You know, since we were sitting here with our beginner boot campers, you know, we decided let's talk about how AI can help you with your onboarding. You know, one of the biggest challenges with really any new software is getting up to speed, you know, quick enough so that you're seeing value right away. You know, before you start to feel overwhelmed. Like, AI can help make the learning curve drastically shorter and get you onboarded quicker. You can ask it anything. Instead of digging through help articles or waiting for support, you know, just ask AI your questions in plain English. Hey, I'm trying to do this. How do I set up a budget? How do I create selection documents? It knows JobTread and it can walk you through it. You know, if you want to think through, like, how do I optimally set up JobTread? Like, you know, ask it. You know, AI can help guide you through how to configure JobTread for your specific business. So you're not just setting it up generically like everyone else, like you're setting up right for how you actually operate. That's huge. You know, getting those first templates in there. We know that's a challenge. You know, your estimates, you know, building out your catalog, you know, all your document templates, your contracts, all of that. Like, I mean, that's challenging. It takes time. It's, you know, but like, use AI. Let it help you to build those faster than you ever could on your own. It is such a great tool. You know, I had someone actually say, man, like, you know, when I bring on new employees, could I have it help me here? I was like, absolutely. When you bring on new people, like, instead of like having to sit down with them for hours, walking them through every single thing, you know, just give them AI and say, hey, here, go ask questions. You know, you can ask it at your own pace. You know, and they're not going to feel like they're bothering you or feel embarrassed that they don't know the answer every time. You know, the nice thing about AI, like, it is extremely patient, like endlessly patient. You know, you can ask it the same question over and over and over again, maybe, you know, a little bit different or just whatever, like, and it's never going to snap back at you or get frustrated with you. It will continue to help you understand. You know, our desire is for you to be able to get as much value as quickly as as quickly as possible from JobTread. Like, we want you to leverage AI. Like, it can basically give every new customer the ability to immediately get help from an expert. You know, it knows the software inside and out. You know, and so you have this tool immediately when you need it. That is a completely different onboarding experience than like we have ever seen or ever been able to give anyone before. You know, now look, I'm not saying that, like, you know, you don't still need to talk to support or call your customer success manager. Like, we're here for you. We want to be here for you. But you might really enjoy being able to have that in-depth back and forth conversation and let it show you and tell you how to do those things. It's right there and it's instant. I think again, like there's so much more here. We've just kind of scratched the surfaces. I mean, again, a couple things that come to mind though, like I think are huge that I heard people talking about earlier. Like, like when you leave a job site, when you're in that car, instead of just, waiting until you get back to the office at the end of the day, like immediately grab your Claude app and just start talking to it. Tell it, give it that huge digest of everything that you learned and what you want. And it can help create a clean summary. It can help create to-dos and action items directly in your JobTread for you. It can create some follow-up messages. If there's a change order that needs to happen, like let it go and start building out, add the change order information, create that document, draft it up for you. Let it help you with your client communications. If you collect a bunch of daily logs throughout the week and you want to curate that one final one at the end, great. Let it help you do that. It'll help you get timely updates out. Be proactive. Maybe you want to ask it, hey, what ideas do you have for workflows that I could create that could automate something in JobTread? Maybe you're like, man, every time one of our proposals gets approved, I want to automatically update the status of that job. Go update this custom field. Go send this message, do this thing, pull in the schedule template. Like, just ask AI, like, hey, how would I do that? Can you go do that for me? Creating a workflow is a little bit more advanced. Maybe you might have to, have a couple iterations and go back and forth with it. But like, again, like it will help you work with it. Dashboards. I think dashboards are like one of the greatest features that we offer, but I still see many people who have not yet built them out. I challenge you today to go in and ask AI, what dashboard should I build, and help me build them. I want more insight on our lead flow, our sales performance, what types of jobs, where are we doing good, where do we need to improve? Like, what are your KPIs? Like, talk to it, work with it, let it help you build out your JobTread so that you have so much more insight every day. But even beyond JobTread, like, let's say you need to go find someone, a new project manager, an estimator, like ask it to build job descriptions for you. Let it help you with hiring. Let it help you understand what, qualities and characteristics, like what are you looking for? What question should I ask that person in an interview? Draft up an offer letter. There are so many ways outside of just JobTread like that you should be leveraging AI every day. A lot of times we talk about, creating SOPs and training documents and things like that, but people just say, I don't have the time to do it. Okay, you no longer have that excuse. Pull open your app, start talking, and describe how your business handles specific processes, and then let the AI turn that into written, documented, standard operating procedures for your whole team to follow. This is how you take your business to the next level. Again, we're just scratching the surface here. I think some of the best use cases are going to come from you all and what you guys are going to share with each other on JobTread Pros. And at our events, like we want to hear this. We want to work with you to continually improve upon these ideas. Now, I would be remiss if I did not give a big AI disclaimer. This is very important. AI is very, very powerful, but it is not perfect. You are still the expert. AI can and does make mistakes. It can misunderstand questions. It can make incorrect assumptions. It can present you something like so confidently that is totally wrong. You always need to review AI-generated content before sending it to a client or before using it to make business decisions. Like, that is on you. You have to review everything. Think of this as just a really smart assistant, but you would still review what they drafted before you sent it out the door. Your expertise, your relationships, your judgment is irreplaceable. AI is just a tool to make you faster. It is not a replacement for your experience. So please, do not just let this be the easy button where you think you can sit back and do a lot less and, daydream and whatever and just think it's just going to run itself. Like, no. I challenge you to be a very active user of AI. You need to check everything, work with it, just like it's another team member. Don't just delegate, like collaborate. The hallucinations, they are very real. Like I said earlier, like AI can confidently give you an answer that sounds so completely and totally reasonable, but it is just flat out wrong. Now, it didn't lie on purpose. It just doesn't know what it doesn't know. AI is trying to figure things out in real time, on the fly, with brute force, like, again, but like it doesn't know what it doesn't know. It is going to hallucinate. Like an example might be, if you ask AI to reference, a building code or material spec and it gives you something that sounds right, but it's just completely made up. Like that is a hallucination. And this is so common in the AI industry that every major AI provider actually tracks and publishes their hallucination rates for every single model. Meaning that they actually measure how often their models get it wrong. It's a known issue. It's not a hidden one. It's just a fact. It's just a reality. But the better news is that it's a simple fix. Always read what AI gives you before you use it. It's the same as you would review anything that any new employee did that they handed to you. Like, review it, check it. Does that sound right? Does that feel right? The saying trust but verify. I'm going to say don't trust and verify. Hallucinations, though, they don't make AI not worth using. It just means that you got to keep your eyes open and review everything. The benefits still far outweigh those risks. It's just up to you to mitigate those risks by being involved with it. So look, how can you get started? Today, right now, you can literally connect your AI to JobTread. We've published a bunch of articles in the help desk. You can scan that QR code or just go search our help desk for AI. But it is very simple. We recommend using Claude. So create a Claude account. And probably just go ahead and do a paid Claude account. And then go to your connectors in your settings and add a custom connector. You just give it a name and then you put in that URL right there. api.jobtread.com/MCP. You don't have to remember this now. It's in the help desk. And once you do that, you just click connect. And it's going to bring you into JobTread. You're going to make sure it's in the right organization and you're going to set your permissions. There's 3 different permission options right now. You've got read. So if you only want your AI to be able to read data, you have read and write. If you want your AI to be able to read and create content and write data. And the third one, read, write, and delete. Now, I would recommend people don't start with delete. We are definitely concerned and worried and do not want to see people going in and just deleting a bunch of things on accident. This is important that you kind of, ease into this, like really get a good understanding of how it works first. And also note, even writing, sometimes a write, like when you're updating something like that could also delete something. That could be a destructive thing. If you tell it to go and, remove all the line items from your budget and then save that, that just deleted the line items. So not everything is encapsulated in that specific delete permission. Now, the other thing to know here is because every user can go and they can, connect to our MCP server, the connection is going through their JobTread user account. And whatever their permissions are, it will respect those permissions. It cannot go around those permissions or do anything that they cannot do if they were just using the JobTread app through the UI. If you're an admin, though, you have full power. You got the ability to do anything and everything, and your AI will be able to do that too. So just be very, very mindful of that. Now, like I said earlier, we recommend Claude. Anthropic's Claude, in my opinion right now is the leading AI, and I especially think it is great for construction. It is by far the most technical AI. It is very good with complex problem solving with quantitative type stuff. Like, this is so helpful, because you're going to have, again, a lot of construction related questions maybe. Or just being able to understand the intricacies of construction. From our own testing, like, we have seen far better results with Claude than we have any of the others. So I would encourage you to go and create a Claude account. But again, this is why, we want to enable you to bring your own AI. That's our approach here. Like, we don't have to force you to use one thing. It's up to you. It's your choice. You can decide which models and which AIs work best for you. It's totally your options. But again, like, we chose to go this route, versus trying to build out our own AI models right now. I mean, maybe at some point we will, but being able, like, to build and maintain a proprietary AI model is extremely expensive and very slow. The training and all of the things that have to happen over time are very slow. Versus here, the best AI models in the world are already built. We don't need to reinvent that. Our job is to make your data accessible to those best-in-class tools that are already being used every day. And you get to benefit from every single improvement that Anthropic and all the others make just automatically. Now let's talk about what does this actually cost? I want to share the craziest stat that I think I've heard this whole time. Right now, for every dollar that you spend with Anthropic on Claude, they are spending roughly $18 to fulfill those requests. These companies, there is this massive race to win the market and to win, the users, that they are willing to subsidize your access to get you hooked. So you should take advantage of that. Claude Pro account here, it's $20 a month. Or you can get the $100 account. ChatGPT also has a $20 account, and then there's an upgraded one. For most contractors, if you're just doing estimating, scheduling, client communications, like, $20 should be good. If you run across that limit, it'll tell you, and it'll tell you how long you have to wait. If you're like me and you're super impatient and don't want to wait, you can upgrade to the $100 a month plan. I think, though, you should not think twice. There's no thought that needs to happen here. Like, whether it's $20 or $100, like, this is, like, by far the cheapest, most effective employee you could possibly hire. It's $100. That should be nominal. And the value that it can create is just astronomical. Now, I will also warn you that we see prices are going to change. These companies, they are burning so much cash to build their market share that eventually the economics are going to have to work. If Anthropic, OpenAPI, if probably when these companies go public, the shareholders will demand, that the economies here make sense. So in the short term, like, we do anticipate the cost of AI to go up. But eventually I think it's going to come back down. Right now we're having to overcompensate for all of the demand when we don't have enough of the infrastructure in place. But computing, it's going to get cheaper over time. As we get these data centers built out, like, the infrastructure is getting created now, and those are fixed costs. But we just need more time to get there. So I do expect that, again, this will become more and more of a commodity. The price will come down. But at the end of the day, like, guys, like, think about, what you're paying for other tools in your business. Like, $20 or even $100 a month is, like, if it can save you hours every week, this is not even a conversation or tough decision. Just do it. Take my word for it. Like, this is how, we have been able to build one of the fastest growing companies in America. We embody AI. I use it every single day. I even told someone earlier, like, I genuinely believe AI has given me superhuman abilities. People ask me all the time, like, do you ever sleep? And I do sleep some, but like, man, like, I can do so much because what would have taken me hours to try to solve problems or whatever it is, like, I just immediately ask AI, hey, here's the situation. Here's what I know. What do you know? Give me some guidance. Get me going. And instantly, I'm now going down the right path. That is huge. Our entire team leverages AI every day. And I want to encourage you all to leverage AI. Encourage your team to leverage it. This is such an incredible tool. And again, like, back to your own personal life. I mean, like, so many things that have come up in my own personal life, from needing to plan a trip, to figuring out a health issue, to figuring out whatever it may be. Like, again, like, just get used to just asking for help. Just do it. You're going to save yourself just an ungodly amount of time. And it's such a powerful tool, man. I cannot emphasize this enough. But what we're launching today, I mean, like, this is just the beginning. The trajectory here, it is just astronomical. AI's capabilities are improving at a pace that the industry has never seen before. The integrations we're launching today, they are going to continue to get more and more powerful as AI keeps improving, and you're going to benefit automatically. We're actively working on deeper integrations, more capabilities, smarter workflows. We are committed to staying at the forefront of helping make sure that you can maximize your opportunity with AI. We're not just chasing AI, we are building towards it. And we're just getting started. And we're so excited to see what, again, all of our partners in this ecosystem around JobTread, like, they are building incredible AI-powered solutions. Look at them. Use them. This can change the game for you. I am 100% confident. So as you can see, we are so excited. I am like, I have not been able to sleep for a couple days. Like, I'm just like busting at the seams. Like, guys, like, I cannot wait to see how this is going to benefit you. I hope you will share all of your best cases, your best use cases with everyone. Like, let's work together. Let's make this a collaboration. Let's help each other. You are the new standard. So show up, represent, and lead this industry to greatness. But that's not all. This is a product update and a town hall that we do them, when we've got more than one update to share. See, I've used a lot of time here, but I do have some more updates to announce. The new AI Autofill tool is incredible. We got some Home Depot things. I mean, like our team is continually working extremely hard to deliver you the features and the tools that you share with us that you need, and that will help you build better businesses. So if you haven't checked out this new AI autofill for the web clipper, like, it's awesome. You can literally go to, a web page, here in this example, we're at Floor and Decor, pull up that item and just click the autofill button. It's going to automatically pull in all the details, all that information, the photos, the install guides, like everything, and create the item directly in your catalog, your budget, your documents. Super powerful. We now have our Home Depot quote builder. So this is going to allow you directly from your budget to create a quote right on homedepot.com that you can go in, you can just confirm the details and submit order. It's going to help you to make sure that you've gotten all those materials ordered very quickly and ready to be delivered or picked up. We're not done with this, but we think this is the next great step for us to keep getting this out there to you. We also released this quantity formula builder. Being able to like quickly build out your quantities and have your parameters from your plans right there. You just click that little button and it allows you to add waste or to do rounding, to keep, all of that data and those formulas so that you don't have to build them or know how to do them. You just have a little UI. Nice little quick win for everyone. We've got the new selection groups, the selection option groups here, like where you can have multiple cost items within one selection. using the new selections. We heard you loud and clear, and we knew. We wanted to get it out there, and we realized and we knew that we needed to give you the ability to kind of go a little bit deeper, so that, let's say, again, for flooring, you might have labor, you might have the materials. You need to take that into account. Depending on the material, that will affect the labor. So we wanted to enable you to do that, so you can now build those accurate material and label assemblies, for each of your choices. They're very clean, simple options for your customers. This is so huge. Now, coming up very, very soon, we've got our AI-style billing. Being able to have payment applications directly in JobTread to track your progress in your billing. Meeting those owner and those lender requirements. Creating professional reports. This is going to be such an awesome update for all those commercial guys. This is coming very soon. Some of you have already got your hands on it and are testing it. We really appreciate all of your feedback. So stay tuned for this. In Heritage, we are finally in the final testing stages where you'll be able to directly order your pool supply right from Heritage without even leaving JobTread. Can't wait for this to come as well. So I was supposed to go do a live demo, but I see I'm definitely running out of time, so I'm going to run through just kind of the remaining slides here, and then we'll hang around. We'll hop in here at the end. Again, I know that we've shared a lot, but I want you to know we've got a new AI training for you. The JobTread 201, you'll be able to register in the help desk. We are here to help you get going. So use our team, learn from us, work with us. We want you to harness this power. We've got our upcoming beginner boot camps. In May, we've got May 7th and 8th, and April the 28th, May 28th, 29th. I believe the second one in April is already filled up, but you can get on the wait list. But again, I would grab your tickets for one of these too if you're interested in coming out. We'd love to have you. We've also got 2 more advanced boot camps coming up. The one at the end of April is about dashboards and custom reports. And then the beginning of May, we've got automations and process mapping. I'm sure we will involve AI in all of this. So be sure to grab your tickets. We have very limited seats. We're keeping this very small, so these will sell out quickly. And we also announced some of our regional workshops that we're doing here in coming up in a little later this month. We've got the Philadelphia meetup. I believe that one's almost sold out. So if you're in Philadelphia, you definitely want to grab those tickets if they're still there. The Charlotte one on May 14th. In Seattle, June 2nd, Kansas City, August 26th. There's many more coming. We're still finalizing all the details, but be on the lookout for those. We're coming to your city. And I also want to share with everyone who's on this webinar today that we're going to have a super early bird ticket sale for JobTread Connect 2027. It will be on May 1st. It is a one-day sale for $649. You will be able to get your tickets only while supplies last. Only very limited subset. So, probably starting around 8, 9 in the morning, you will be able to grab those tickets. You want to grab them. If you know you're coming, then just get it. It's going to help you guys. It's going to help us plan to have an amazing JobTread Connect. We're so excited. And again, leverage these certification programs. We've got a new API certification. We might have an AI certification coming as well. I do believe we have an API one coming too. So keep an eye out for all these certifications. These are great ways for you to learn and to go through, just kind of watch a couple videos, answer some questions, things like that. But as always, be sure to follow along in our What's New. In the help desk, we publish every single update and we have videos. Our team does a lot of work and effort to make sure that every time we add something that you understand why we did it and what changed and what you can do with it. So keep up there. And I also want to highlight a couple of our upcoming webinars. So if you are really interested in this AI stuff, I got 2 great ones coming up. On April 15th, we're going to have Elliot Wittstruck from DataX. He's going to be talking about, AI from zero to cyborg, 7 levels to make your business smarter. Elliot, he won our, innovation award this year. This guy is a wizard with AI. He has built some incredible tools that are working directly with and in your JobTread. He's got a new agent builder out there. Go check this stuff out. Elliot and the DataX team have done a great job leveraging technology and are on the forefront. So I highly recommend you tune into this webinar, April 15th. This is one that you don't want to miss. And if you're not connected with these guys, go give them a shout. And then on April 22nd, we got Marcus Sheridan. He's going to talk about the future of AI visibility for contractors. How can you drive more visibility from all the different AIs? How can you fill your top of the funnel? Like, we've now started tracking and asking all new contractors how they heard about us, and we're blown away that it's like 15 to 20% are now finding out about JobTread from AI. That is wild. So come learn how you can implement and leverage those same things with your business. Marcus Sheridan is an awesome thought leader. You want to hear from this guy. If you heard him at Connect, you know what I'm talking about. Now, again, we're going to be continuing to put out a lot of updates. So please, follow me, follow JobTread on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I think you can actually scan this QR code. Go follow along. We're going to continue to create as much helpful content, tips and tricks. And as we learn and as we see great use cases, we want to share them. And I want you to be able to share them with us and tag us, and we'll reshare it. That's how we can continue to build this community and how we can help everyone out there. And if you're not tuned into Builder Stories, please go follow, subscribe. This is a great opportunity to learn from others who have been building incredible businesses. Learn from their challenges, learn from their successes. And I'm very interested in the next, just as if anyone has any AI, stories and experiences that they want to share. I would love to have you on. Just go to builderstories.com and you can submit the application to come on. We would love to hear your stories and share them with others. And lastly, I want to thank you all for continuing to spread the good word. All of your shout outs, all of your referrals, this is how we continue to grow. It is thanks to you that we are the 6th fastest growing technology company in all of North America. That would make us the fastest growing construction technology company. We just ranked number 5th on the Inc. On the Inc. Southwest regions. We'll find out our Inc. 500 ranking, I think, later this year. But it is thanks to you all. The majority of our customers are coming from your referrals and your word of mouth. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And if you haven't yet given us a review, please do. We would love that. That means the world to us. And I would encourage you to do the same with your customers. Enter into every single agreement, every contract, every job with the intention of winning their 5-star review. And tell them, if at any point in this journey, if something is not sitting right with you, let us know. We want to make it right. My team and I embody that. We are here to deliver exceptional customer experiences. I want to earn your 5-star review. And if we have not earned that, then please let us know. Feel free to reach out to me directly. This means so much to us and is how we have continued to build this business so quickly. Every review that you get, it is a signal to AI that this is the company, this is the builder, this is the contractor that you want to work with. So thank you for helping us, and I hope you will also do the same. That's what I have from a presentation standpoint today. I'm so excited that you all have chosen to be part of this incredible JobTread community. We are so grateful for you as our partners, for continuing to work with us. We can't wait to keep taking everything that I've shown you today to the next level. We're not done. We are just beginning, and we are going to build the best possible solution that we can for this industry so that everyone can win here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy to answer questions and hop into to some live demos.
There is a lot of excitement for a live demo. So I would say if we want to get started with that.
All right, let me get my screen here set up just real quick. All righty. All right. Let's, all right, here we go. So let me share this screen over here now. I'm going to start here in my Claude account. Guys, I'm just so pumped. I seriously, I think this is going to change the game for so many of you, and I'm so excited to see the impact. I'm so excited for our team to keep helping to educate you and to bring more and more thought leaders to teach you how this can help you take your business to the next level. It's going to be awesome. All right, I know I gotta quit rambling here. All right, so you come into your Claude account. You're going to go into your settings, and this is where you come to your connectors. Now, I've got a lot of connectors. If you basically you're going to come in and you're just going to hit create custom connector. So this is where you just give it a name. So we're going to say JobTread, and we're going to give it that URL that I shared earlier. It's api.jobtread.com/MCP, and you click add. Now, once you've done that, you're going to then go through and configure it. Now, it'll actually say connect here. I've already got mine connected. So I'm not going to connect it again. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you. So for those of you who have multiple organizations, let's say I'm going to do outdoor living here. If you have multiple organizations, you are able to actually come in and add multiple MCP connections. But what you have to do is you have to put a question mark and then whatever you want to put right here. I'm just going to say, outdoor. Like you can put whatever. I have seen a few issues where some people have this weird thing on their Claude account where it might capitalize everything. Like if you have any sort of issue, try just appending this question mark with whatever. Like that lets you create a unique connection here. So once you click connect, that's going to take you into your JobTread. Now from here you get to choose which organization is this for. And like I said, I'm going to do this one for the outdoor living. So here are your 3 different levels of access: the read only, read write, and read write and delete. So pick the one that you want. But again, we got a big disclaimer here. Like we cannot be responsible for what happens with your AI and with your data. Like if you get in there and wreak havoc, that is on you. I would encourage you before you go do a bunch of mass updates of anything, even in your catalog, even in a budget, save it, export it, again, get comfortable with how it works, what happens. There's lots of ways too with Claude. You can tell it that you want it to prompt you before everything, have you confirm everything before it does it. That's going to be really, really helpful. And so then you're going to grant access and it's just going to take you back, right back over here. All right. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to create a new chat. And actually what I'm going to do, let's get this split screen if I can. Go on full screen here. So we'll come over here and now let me get another window open so we can actually see this in action here. I'm just going to go in here to JT Custom Homes, and we're going to go watch the home dashboard here. So this is where again, the more detailed, the better you are at prompting, the better it's going to do. So I'm going to say, in JobTread, and most of the time, if you just have one connection, you wouldn't necessarily have to I'm going to say, hey, in JobTread and JT Custom Homes, create a new customer for our product, or for our live demo. So create a new customer named live demo. We'll say new customer account named live demo. The location, is 1275 Merritt Drive, Dallas, Texas 75251. Add a contact named Claude. With an email, Claude@example.com. All right, we're just going to start with this. So this is basically going to go, and this will create, new customer, and create that location, create the job. So there we see we got, live demo. The account was created, the location was created, and it should be adding the contact here. Now, again, what I want to make sure everyone understands, depending on the model that you've done, it can go faster, it could go slower. You got lots of different options here. Do you want extended thinking? There's all sorts of models that you can choose from. Again, I recommend kind of just start with the defaults that it's asking you. But let's go look through here. So we got the account, the location. We got Claude there. I'm going to go ahead and tell it. Let's create a new job. Let's say create a bathroom remodel job let's say job for a 10-foot by 20-foot bathroom. We want to add new I don't know. We want to demo the existing bathroom and add a new toilet and vanity and all the fixtures. Let's go ahead and build out the budget. Organize it with cost groups, by trade, or phase. Be specific with the line items. Set the margin to 50%. How much do we want to make on this job? Be sure to So I mean, again, like I could go on and on. And when you're talking, not typing, it's a lot easier. I definitely recommend using the speech to text. But again, so Claude's going to go through. It's going to work through these things. Like the more specific, the better you are at prompting. And I'll say again, like prompting is a skill that you have to learn. And this thing is going to kind of show us a bunch of things. And it's going to do a lot of things. Depending on how much detail, how kind of what the task is, even depending on the time of day, depending on which model you're using, things can take longer and shorter. But over here we can see. I mean, we've got the live demo customer account. It's got the location there that we've created. For our for the customer. We also had the let's see, did it get the contact? Got Claude as the contact, set the email. It's all of that detail that we asked it to do. Now again, if you're sitting on the road and you just left the job site and you can just rattle off a bunch of stuff and then let it run, how long it takes might not matter. So this can take a few minutes. Again, you can kind of go off and do some other stuff, wait for it to finish up. But we will see here. What will happen here. So I see, do we already have to have the cost populated for each cost item? Like, again, no. Like, I mean, this is where they're like, you're gonna have to verify everything. Use this as a tool to get you drafted, to get you started. And then you can come in and you can refine it. You can double check things. Again, I would not ever trust the cost data. It is something that you need to know. What it costs, and I would confirm it all. If you tell it to go to a specific site, like if you say go to homedepot.com, like yeah, it should get the right cost, but again, don't trust and verify. All right, so this is one of the longer running tasks. We've got a bunch of others like building schedules and creating all this other stuff that is much faster, but I figure we should start with the hardest thing here. Do we want to be logged into a new account that we link to Claude rather than being logged in as ourselves? I mean, like, again, like Travis, there are a couple different options. You can set up a team Claude account, and if you want to give your employees, their own users, you can. You can set up ways to share accounts if you just want one for the company. There's lots of options, but it's up to you. All right, so now it says it has everything it needs, using labor, line items, material fixtures. Yeah, so let's see, do we get our job created yet? It's probably still, no, well, let me see here. Okay, so it did create our job. So we got the bathroom remodel job created. So let's see if it's actually got anything in the budget yet though. Oh, so it looks like it's got our, it's kind of mapped out these cost groups. It looks like we're now getting some line items in here. So again, it looks like it even got our cost codes right. Let me hide a few of these things here from. See, we don't need to. Well, I could have told it to. We'll tell it maybe go back and fill out the descriptions. Maybe we don't need these quantity formulas. So just kind of so we can see everything. again, it's built out this whole budget. It's drafted it all out. It's selected the cost codes. Now, interesting. So it looks like it hasn't populated our units here. That was an interesting thing. And so again, this is going to continue to get smarter over time. And as you give it feedback and as you tell it, so please go back and populate all the units for the line items in this budget. Now, actually, you shouldn't say please. Again, let's talk about context. Like, you want to be as concise as you can, because the context window, when the way that the cost is determined here is how much context it has to process and use. So I think it was OpenAI came out and said that like people saying please and thank you to the AIs cost tens of millions of dollars. So just be very direct. You do not need to worry about hurting its feelings. I promise you, it will be just fine. Just be concise. You don't have to be, but that's just my recommendation. All right, so it looks like it's still working here. So it had to go pull in all of those items. And again, I'm going to tell you, some of this is just it may or may not do it right. You might have to say, hey, that wasn't right. Go retry. Kind of give it that that feedback. We're going to collaborate here. With our new best employee. All right. Still working. Maybe it's so here we go. So it looks like it's gotten all of the the units populated. You can see it's still going. So it'll let us know here when it's done. Kind of move this over so we can see a little bit more. But one of the things maybe after this, please so go write up a description for each of these line items. Make it help me sell this to the customer. Great. So now we're going to tell it to go do that. So I guess a lot of times it'll give you a summary and kind of tell you about the things that they're going to do. Okay, great. I already have all the cost items in here. Sweet. That's super helpful. So we'll see. This one might take a little bit longer. It's got to kind of write up and figure out the best way to position all of this. Yeah, so Elliot here, I see, said, think about using this as prompting the work, then doing something else while this work finishes in the background. Exactly, you can kind of let these things run, and depending on how complex it is. Now, I will say sometimes what you might see is that it's going to have a continue, if you tell it to do too many things all at once, it might prompt you, do you want to continue? And that's kind of like a cost mechanism where if you accidentally told it to go read every website under the sun, you might not have been intending on it to blow through all of your usage, for that time period. So it might be hey, I just did a bunch. Do you want me to keep going? So I think that's important to to keep in mind here. All right, so I just refreshed. So again, even if it looks like it's not done, maybe it's still working. So again, we're getting some some full-blown descriptions. Complete removal of the existing toilet, including disconnecting the water supply, pulling the fixture, and capping all the lines. We handle everything cleanly, so your new bathroom starts fresh. Full tear out the existing vanity, cabinets, sinks, including disconnecting the drain, the supply lines. Yada yada. You can see, this is literally built out this entire budget here, and now giving us some very friendly, descriptions for every single line item, and over here it likes to prompt us. All right, so now how about, let's, can you build a schedule based on the, cost items, cost items in this budget? We, anticipate this job taking, around, let's just say, around 10 days. Be sure to include any dependencies. Here, we'll just start it. Let's just see what it does first on its own, and then we can tell it to go back and refine. So it's going to take, again, all of this information right here. It's going to build us out a schedule. So let's see what it does. So it's giving us its plan. That's nice, cool. All right, plan looks good. If I needed to modify something, I could click the stop button. Let's it kind of, if you need to reprompt it or give it some more information, So I can actually sit here and like, refresh the screen if I want, or I can just be patient. I'm one of those like perpetual refreshers. Probably better that you don't do that, but yeah, we're gonna let it go in here. So it looks like it's gonna build out the groups first. So it's organizing this. Um, so let's see. It looks like it duplicated something. Maybe that was my refresh. I don't know. All right, so all 9 groups are added. I will now add the child task under each group. Cool. See how that goes. All right, so see, we are building out the demolition group. So we're going to demo the existing toilet. We're going to move the existing vanity, demo the flooring, demo the existing wall tile. All right, so that's taking a second. All right, so here's one of those. Claude has reached its tool limit for limit for this turn. Cool. Let's continue. I'm on the max plan. If you're on the $20 plan, again, like it just once you hit that limit, you can decide, do you want to keep going? You know, just like again, remember like $100 a month, this is a nominal expense for the business when you can move so much faster and you can solve so many problems by being able to consult with your AI. So just again, take that for what it's worth. All right, so it looks like we are getting this budget built out even more. So again, what I'm noticing too though, it's probably not setting those cost types. In a previous run, I told it to set the dependencies and the cost types based on the type of work it's doing. That kind of gives you the nice little organization there. So still working through it all. This is also where I think having the draft, the ability to so over in your settings here, there is a schedule option to let's see, where are we at, schedule, so auto publish job schedules. I recommend you turn that off, and that way as it's building out its schedule, which it looks like it is now I believe is now completed here. Oh, it reached its limit again. Let's tell it, come on. Let's get on with it, Claude. Of course, live demos, we gotta, go slower. But once it, this way you kind of get that option to sort of check everything, and nothing's gonna show up to anybody until you publish the schedule. I highly recommend that. Again, like you got to double check everything, but before you just release it. All right, are we almost done here? Come on now. All right, here we go. So it looks like we have completed the schedule. Now, again, like I said, can you go add, dependencies, to everything that is dependent on something ahead of it, and also let's update the task types, based on the task. Probably don't need to, spell check everything, but I'm just OCD like that. So there we go. All right, let's send it off to the races. All right, cool. So here we go. Let me pull in all the available tasks. I'll map them. So good. Here's my completed plan before I start writing. So it's telling us what it's going to do ahead of time, kind of flushing out the detail, gives you that opportunity to review it and stop it if you want before it goes through all the work. So that might be helpful. I see here we got that errant demo line item there, but looks like it's starting with updating these cost types. So this one must be for rough plumbing. So start doing it in batch. I'll do type and dependency in each call. Cool. So let's see how we're looking. Cool. All right. So now we're seeing that all of our task types, which is also where we had set the where the color got set. So we got our rough plumbing, we got our electrical here, we got our framing. This blue, I bet, I guess that was general, so maybe we did have a demo, so we'll see if it picks that one up. So okay, still going through. Oops, I just refreshed my window here. Hopefully that won't cause an issue. All right, so I'm not exactly sure what happens when you refresh the window in the middle of it. It looks like I got one of them. Okay, yep. So it's still adding them. So it's adding these dependencies. Now, again, like, I could have told it to lock the dependencies, to add buffers. Like, the more, explicit, the more detailed that you want it to do, whatever it may be. Like if you want it to go build out a checklist, like add these dependencies, lock it, like, Claude through this MCP connection has the ability to do anything and everything that you can do within our application. What this MCP layer is it is telling Claude, how to use our API. The API is the true, thing that has enabled all of us though. And everything that you can do in the UI is being done through our own API. Like we actually have built this user interface on top of our API. That is exactly what Claude is doing. This MCP server is built on top of our API. And so that gives it the ability to come in here and literally just figure out how to do all these things. So let's, I'm going to kind of move on from this one, but like, let's say we want to, may we want it to, to go and, find the most recent bathroom remodel job that we have that we have created with a budget and compare this one to it. Give us any feedback on how we should improve this job. So like I could sit here and I could continually ask this, as you learn how to prompt, your AI, like you're going to get better and better at this stuff. Like this is what, it does take some time. Now, look, I want to say that like, using AI is extremely fun. It makes it fun, but like there's also, a tendency to maybe spend too much time playing around instead of getting, the job done. So if you find yourself, playing and not, delivering the results that you need to be delivering, then maybe you need to, rethink. Like, the sky's the limit here. You got to make sure that this is a productivity tool and that you're not sinking a bunch of time going down rabbit holes, because there is some of that, and it definitely makes it very, very possible. So again, it gave us a full blown, feedback, recommendations, the margin. Like, I mean, like again, like that's probably, that was too long. Make it shorter. Be more concise. Grade me. Grade me on how I did. So like again, like this, if it's too verbose, tell it to be, more specific, more concise. It's again, it's so powerful, and you just got to learn to use it. Oh, it gave me some fancy little images here, right? No shower, no tub. Yeah, I guess probably might need one of those. No waterproofing membrane. I mean, again, however much detail we want to go into, the sky is the limit here. So again, I've shown a lot here. Maybe one other thing. Let's go to build .com and find the find me a few high end luxury toilets that we can add as selection items to this job. Build a selection group and set the selection options for the group to pick one. All right, we will see how that plays out. Again, sometimes it might be hit or miss. Sometimes you might have to ask it a couple times. Like the sky is the limit. I think the cool thing though, what you're going to be able to see is like as you get better and better, like you can create these like instructions. You can build these skills or tools. You can create agents. Like like there are a lot of different ways that like you can really like templatize this process so that it is able to do it exactly how you want to do it. If something doesn't work right, that probably means that it didn't understand how you wanted it to function or how you wanted it to do, or maybe it made a wrong assumption. Maybe it didn't, understand something in the API. Like, this is where like you got to kind of work through, all of these different steps here. All right, so let's see. So good. I have a solid luxury options. Let me get specific pricing on the three high-end picks. We're going to create the cost group schema simultaneously. I have everything built. Now let me fetch the URLs. So here are the top options. So it gave me a Toto toilet for 5,800. Oh, that'd be my cost. Of course, I've got to put my margin on top. So let's sell an $11,000 toilet. We got Kohler. We got So like again, like even if this can do it, like I encourage you, remember, check everything. Check everything. All right, cool. So it's sourced them all. So we now have a toilet selection group. It's a choose one here. We got the different options. We can see it kind of built out. Gave us a description. Set kind of all these details. So again, I guess I forgot to tell it to upload. Can you upload the photos? Let's see if it can do that. Sometimes it's been a little hit or miss with the photos. So sometimes again got to play around with it. Okay, so saying it can't. Again, a lot of the time it can. It just being stubborn right now. Let's see. It didn't give me the URL here, but let's just say though, one of the neat things. So now I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna just say, let's go to that build.com. Grab that toilet. All right, cool. So this is where we're gonna now actually play with the autofill tool. So in case you don't know about the autofill tool, so if you go over to your catalog here, and you can actually come in here and use what's called our web clipper. So this web clipper, you're gonna generate a new clipper. I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna drag it up to my bookmark here. So I'm gonna probably rename it just so I remember which one it is. So this is JT uh, Custom Homes. And so we've got our web clipper now. So, back over here on this Ferguson home, forgot build.com got renamed. Glad it made its way there. I can now click on this JT or on this web clipper. So I could go through as you know, and I could go and I could grab each and all the details and do all that, but like that's not as much fun. We're just going to use this autofill tool. And so this is where it's going to scan this whole page, get all the details that it knows that I want. And then I'm going to have the option to go in and, so cool. We got the image, we got the appliance. I don't know why I didn't set each here. We'll just grab that. If we need to add any additional detail, select, whatever, these are all my custom fields. Looks like I got a lot. But here, so I'm actually going to go and I want to go directly to my budget for my bathroom remodel, and I want to update an existing, the existing Toto toilet item since I already created it. Cool. We're going to just hit update. And that'll take me to my budget here. So now I can come back to this guy. We can see if we got all of that information. Great. So all that just to get the file, but we got the image, got all the details. Again, this now lets me come in here and I could create a selection document, and so we can then basically have our three different options. So like I said, like the sky is unlimited here. And as it gets smarter and uses more and more information, like, we're going to be able to find so many more use cases for this, working with you, being able to figure out how to like automate, the everything that it can do. Like it's just so incredible. Let's say, build, so in JT custom homes, let's create a new dashboard called our lead pipeline. Add a dashboard tile to show me the number of customer accounts created by month. Yeah, let's just see what it does here. So again, a little bit more advanced of a topic, but we will see if it's able to go and do that. So I can see, so it's again, it's kind of showing you what it's doing. Refresh here. Let's see if it got this one created yet. Oh, I guess I forgot to tell it what to name. I know I told it name it pipeline. All right, so it's got everything it needs. It's going to create the dashboard and the tile in one shot. All right, cool. Doing a little bit more work. Good, it created it. Still not seeing it. This thing's probably great at, again, building Zapiers, creating, if you wanted to create additional integrations, with your, here it is with your webhooks. Oh, looks like it didn't get something right, so we'll have to go figure that one out. But again, there's a lot of different ways that you're going to be able to use this to create so much more insight and unlock so much more power. So super excited about this. I realize you guys have hung out with us for quite a while now. Really appreciate it. I hope you'll dive in to the live trainings. We're gonna do lots of think tanks, things like that. See, Taylor's popped on. So Taylor, what do we got?
Maybe a few questions, but our team has answered over 330 questions in the Q&A, which is amazing. So I think a lot of them have been answered, but one here that we wanted to answer live is what are the concerns out there about the security of anyone's company's private information?
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons why we recommend Claude, over a lot of the others out there is we do feel, that it is, right now Anthropic has, the most secure AI solution. I will say though, again, you gotta sort of measure your own risk tolerance. If security is, a huge concern. You're super paranoid. Like, again, you think AI is gonna, take over the world, which it might one day. I don't know. You got to measure that, kind of that risk for your own tolerance level. But I do believe again, like the intention here is that everything that you communicate with Claude is kept in its own, closed gated, LLM there. You can turn off settings in your Claude account to tell it, maybe you don't want it to, create memories. But again, I can tell you like the amount of data that is being created, and all of this AI world is just astronomical. And so it is not going to save and store every little bit of detail, even when it creates memories, like it is trying to tell itself like the high level things to remember about, how you use Claude and the things that you've corrected it and told it to do. But like, a lot of this like, data is not going to be, just kept around forever. There are different settings though to make sure that it doesn't and that it's not using, your data for training. So look into all of that. But again, I think that there are a lot more, less secure AIs that are available to you, such as like OpenClaw. I do not recommend OpenClaw right now because, again, even though it is run on your own machine, there are still a lot of vulnerabilities. There's a lot of security holes. Like by choosing to partner with someone like Anthropic, again, like they are managing all of that versus other AIs. It could be the wild west. So I think it's very important that you pick the right, trustworthy AI, versus just kind of adopting, whatever fancy thing looks good and they tell you it works. Like, make sure that you do your due diligence and do your research to figure out what is appropriate and what you should be comfortable sharing.
Yep, great answer. Okay. So if someone's connecting to Claude, what version is the best one to use? This person said that they have Sonnet 4.6.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's again, like don't sweat the version too much. I do think that I know there are a lot of different options here. So when you come in here, like you'll be able to see, there's Sonnet, there's Opus. I mean, Opus is again, it is going to think a lot more. It is going to take a lot longer. Sonnet is kind of the most efficient for everyday task. But look, at the end of the day, again, why don't you, ask Claude, what is the best, the best model for me to use when using the JobTread, MCP? Should I enable extended thinking or not? Like I don't, ask it. Let's see what it says. So it's gonna do some research, do some thinking. My gut's gonna tell you though, kind of stick with the defaults until you have specific use cases or reasons that you might want to kind of choose something else, but use Sonnet 4.6. Most professional users should be the default. It has a 1 million token context window, near Opus performance, so you can read all the extra stuff, or you could just roll with Sonnet 4.6.
All right. And then do you want to review real quick those permission levels that they can set up for the AI tools?
Yeah. So again, we've got the read write, and we have the read write and delete. So when you come into your Claude, I guess I had it open over here. So when you come into your Claude and you again go to the let's see my window, go to the connectors here. And you create your connector. So or I could come in. I'll just come in. We'll disconnect this one so that I can reconnect it and show you. So now we've added it. Now again, if you want to add multiple, because you can only have one unique URL, you can append it with that question mark, whatever. But you click connect, it brings you into JobTread, and this is where you can choose read only, read and write, read, write, and delete. So those are the three different levels. But remember, it is restricted to what your user can do. So, even more important is over here, now is a great time to review the roles that you have set up for your team, based on how much access you want them to have.
Okay. I think we just have a few more questions our team's working there to answer.
See, Jason, if you want to change the roles later, again, just go back to go back into Claude and just disconnect and then reconnect, and that'll let you change the roles.
Okay, and we also had, let's see, this question here. So if they use AI as an organization, does that mean that anyone in the organization can now use AI, or are there limits that they can put?
So each Claude account, presumably that would be each user would have their own Claude account, would need to connect. This is going to be so disruptive. I think again, when you empower your team to work smarter, not harder, you are going to be a way more efficient organization.
So it looks like Jamel was kind of clarifying on that last one. Will any user be able to add AI into their JobTread account, or can you limit who gains the ability? I guess if you're the admin of the JobTread account.
Right now, again, like because they're not coming into JobTread, like but before when you want to set up an integration, you actually have to be an admin, have settings, go to integrations. But because this is all done from Claude, really anyone who knows the URL and just FYI, there are a ton of connectors out there. This allows anyone to be able to connect to all sorts of different services. So it is a new reality that users can create and connect, and that is why it is so important that you understand and review the permissions that you have given each and every user. They will only be able to do what they can do in the JobTread UI. Said another way. But it's important to review the permissions and the roles that everyone has been assigned.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
I'll also give you another little tip, my own personal tip here. Like I am not yet comfortable connecting AI to my email. I know a lot of people are. That's great. Cool. To each their own. My fear, my concern here is that, again, it could, go and figure out, maybe what bank I'm at and maybe try to reset my password. I mean, who knows? Like, again, like you have to be very, very mindful that like, AI, could be given, some errant, script or somehow was sent some spam, email, that had this like hidden, script of what it should go do, that may be malicious. It is still, the wild, wild west, so for me, I don't yet connect AI to my email. Maybe one day I will, but right now I don't. All right. What else we got? I mean, you guys have really cranked
All
through all these
right.
questions.
Yeah. Way to go, Anna, Travis, Rachel. Amazing. Amazing job. And Sam back there. All right.
You know,
Um,
one other just general thought, like if I was you, I probably wouldn't sign up for an annual plan with any AI. You know, last month or
mhm.
maybe a couple months ago, I mean, ChatGPT, I mean, it was everything, right? You know, and now ChatGPT is like the MySpace, like just like overnight, boom, it's gone. You know, so like as AI continues to evolve, who knows, who's going to end up winning. I think that, I think Google is a very, is a dark horse here. They have Gemini. The thing that Google has that these others don't is like just a plethora of knowledge about the entire web. Every single website that it is indexing every single day. Like, I mean, like, Google is just like, I think that they could really, come out with some very, very powerful stuff. Again, I do believe kind of Claude is sort of the lead right now. But who knows? 3 months, 6 months, a year, that could all change. Robert, my pool turned out great. Appreciate it. Kids love it.
It
And that
is a
heater was
beautiful
helpful.
pool.
No, thank you. So will there be the capability to connect to more than one AI to JobTread? Yeah, I mean, like again, you can connect to as many AIs as the service is going to allow you to. We had to, if I came in and tried to add the same, the same MCP server again, it would tell me that I already have, that I already have this one. So it's not gonna, it says, hey, server with this address already exists. So that's where, one of our smart guys figured out that we come in here and say blah, and that is essentially creating a unique URL. So if you do have multiple job treads, you could do that. And again, however many Claude users that you want to have connected, I mean, it could do that. If you want to go connect to multiple, if you want to have open API or open AIs, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, like we will continue to put out kind of more instructions. But I can tell you that in our own testing, Claude has done the best job out of all of them. Being able to interact and work with our API. That's not to say that won't change. And again, we are going to continually work on improving it, and based on y'all's feedback, if there's something that you're trying to do that's not working, like let us know. Because there might be something that we can do to better kind of explain it to Claude in the MCP server. So we sort of need those use cases in kind of areas that aren't working. So feel free to send those in. I do believe, Nick, with Gemini that should be an option. I know with ChatGPT you do. I'm pretty sure you have to have the paid account. Claude will let you connect with the free account, but like I mean, you're going to blow through the free usage like immediately. So you might as well put in the $20. But I do think Gemini. I haven't connected it. I think you might have to have an app to do it. But again, we're going to end up kind of putting JobTread will be in all of these kind of connectors directories, if you will, at some point. It's just not there yet. But we really wanted to kind of flush this out, um, and then we will
Okay.
then
And
we
then it
will move
says,
forward with that.
can you have it build a budget with items only in your catalog? So yeah, I mean, I think that just gets into the prompt, right?
Yeah, I mean, again, you got to try it. Go see.
Being very specific in that prompt.
Yep. Because again, remember, it can read in your entire catalog. And so if you tell it like go find this line item in the catalog and add it to the job, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to. Jeff, I see your question here. I mean, before we needed DataX to connect to AI, so do we need this anymore? Like, man, like what the guys at DataX are doing, I mean, is pretty incredible, to see, they have created this whole agent builder interface, which is like amazing. Like that's going to let you essentially, create your own set of instructions to run 24 by 7, and one agent can call another agent. Like, I mean, yeah, you could go figure that out on your own or for a nominal, cost. Like, I mean, these guys are already giving you great tools that are AI enabled that already connect to JobTread. So, again, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel, when you already have a great solution. I would stick to it. Matt, what level of access? I mean, again, that's up to you. If you want it to be able to create anything in JobTread, it's going to need to have that write ability. So I would probably recommend read and write. Maybe you steer away from the delete. But I mean, again, you can literally pull out Claude and say, Claude, clock me into this particular job. Select this task that I'm working on. Oh, actually, I decided I'm not going to go to work today. Claude, can you delete that? So it wouldn't be able to do the delete if you don't have that delete permission set. Now, again, if you're a regular field guy, you might have the delete to manage your time entries anyways, and so it doesn't really matter if you gave it delete or not. What does the delete do that can be the worst case scenario? I mean, Brian, if you told it to go and clear out my catalog and delete all of my catalog line items, I mean, like, poof, they're gone. So I sure hope you, I sure hope you backed everything up. If again, if you told it to go and delete, a document or delete, like just in general, like deleting is probably the most risky thing you could do. I probably would really try to focus on just creating and drafting stuff. And again, if something needs to be deleted, like, restrict that to admins, let somebody go in there, review it and manually do it so that you don't accidentally delete something. If Pamela, if you want to change the permission after the fact, if you've already connected it and you want to change it, that's where you're going to come in here and you're just going to click, configure and then click disconnect or uninstall, whatever it's called. Just uninstall it. That's going to essentially disconnect and then you can reconnect that same one. So now I can click reconnect and that's going to bring me back in and let me choose a different permission level. Do we have staff trained on using AI and helping others to use it? I mean, David, again, a lot of our staff is pretty well versed on it. But again, like ask Claude, what are the best, you know, give me a, pretend pretend I am a new, you know, AI user. Give me a training. Give me some training on how to use AI. Just see what it does. And so again, like this is that notion of like you get to, you know, interact with it and like let it help you. Like ask it all of those things. Like if you get stuck, sure. If you can't figure out something, like absolutely, like our team, is here to help. And we got some AI wizards on the team, but like, again, like use the tool. Here it's like, hey, how to get the most out of Claude. So what is AI? How to prompt, better results, limitations, it's going to go through and, basically give me this crash course on how to use AI. So I'm going to go ahead and think that Claude's going to do a better job teaching you how to use it than we are. I mean, that Claude's the expert on Claude. That's where the AI to take our data entry on our invoice bill. We use QuickBooks integration was amazing, but we still have to manually upload invoices into bills and assign the cock. This would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, again, David, this could be a great way, to streamline your data entry. Absolutely. Again, you can build out different flows and kind of different processes. I know again the guys at DataX, they just created, an agent where it can actually have an email address that you can email all of your bills to, and then it'll automatically go in and find the job and find the, the document that it needs to be related to and sort of handle some of that for you. I mean, like, again, like the opportunities and the power here is unlimited, is limitless. Like, just, again, you gotta think through it and prompt it and tell it what you want and ask questions. Pretty neat little interactive guide. I really like how Claude kind of does a good job of, like, when it has questions, it can prompt you with that. Is there a JobTread community where we can help each other? Great question. I would say for right now, keep using the JobTread Pros. We are looking at actually creating some subgroups. Kind of we're sort of thinking more like by industry, but we may end up also creating an AI one. I know we're going to do a lot of think tanks and focus groups, or just kind of collaborations. But I'd say for now, again, let's leverage that JobTread Pros and help each other, share those best practices, ask those questions. I think that's a great resource. David, yes, the AIA billing. If you're interested in getting more information or getting early access to that, just go ahead and shoot support an email, and they can give you the link to go in and test it and give us some feedback. That's kind of where we're right there on the tail end. Hopefully going live next week. So Heather, you need to add a custom connector. We're not yet listed in the directory yet. You need to come in and so you're not going to find us right here. This is where you go into your settings and go to connectors, and over here you'll be able to see at the bottom, add a custom connector. This is kind of how you're going to add it right now. You give it a name and then the URL. If you are on a Claude Teams plan, you will need the administrator to add the connector for everyone. So maybe that's a good reason to have a Teams plan if you want to sort of restrict who has access.
Okay, well, we are right up on 3 o'clock here.
Yeah, look, we could
I
go
think
on
we've
all day
answered all the
about this.
questions.
Yeah. So again, thank you all so much for showing up, for taking the time, to learn more about this. We can't wait to see the impact that this has on your business. Really, really appreciate it. Keep winning those jobs. Don't lose focus on the end result of delivering better projects, better customer experiences. Go earn those 5-star reviews. Take your business to the next level. We're excited to be a resource, to be a partner for you. We're here to help, but we can't wait to see how AI can help you take your business to the next level. So thank you all so much. Have a great Friday afternoon. I'm sure a lot of you will be spending the next nights and weekends playing around. I know that I can't stop myself. So again, just remember, it's on your phone. You don't always have to be on your computer. You can do that late night Clauding, and think about, hey, go add these, go add these to-do lists and go give me that summary. Super powerful stuff. So thank you all. Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.